So, hi friends, here I am going to talk about the physical properties of d block element. Among the physical properties, here I am going to concentrate only the melting point of d block elements in this session. So, if you want any other properties to be explained, you can just give me a notification, or you can ask me in the comment box. So, if we want to learn about the physical properties, we should have two aspects in our mind. One is the electronic configuration, and the other one is the number of unpaired electron. Why we want to talk about unpaired electron? Unpaired electron, we all know that if it is going to be single, then it will be very effective or very reactive, or here it will jump here and there. So, because of this aspect, the unpaired electrons are very important in the reactions or in the properties. Okay. Now, when I concentrate about this melting point and boiling point, normally all the d block elements will have very high melting point. Normally it will have very high melting point than the other elements from the p block and the s block. So, except zinc, cadmium and mercury, all the other elements will have very high melting point due to two aspects. One is the strong bonding, and the other one is the partially filled d orbital. Partially filled d orbital electrons. Okay, so here the melting point depends upon, in this property, this melting point will depend on the number of unpaired electron, the number of unpaired electron. Okay, so when we talk about this, all these things, here first we have to know what is the number of unpaired electron. Okay, so here when we talk about the number of unpaired electrons, we have different unpaired electrons for different species. So, for scandium, this is the first transition series, which is scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. So, here we have D1 configuration, here we have D2 configuration, and with NS2 as the outermost electronic configuration. Okay, here the N will be 4 and for D it will have 3D. Yes, that is mandatory, you have to write that. Okay, and for vanadium we have D3, and for chromium the ground state configuration will be 4s2 3d 4. But because of the jumping of electrons, what happens? It becomes like 4s1 and 3d5 will be its ground state configuration. Sorry. So, what happens here? The number of unpaired electrons here will be 1, and for titanium it will be 2, for vanadium it will be 3, for chromium it will be 6 because it has 5 unpaired electrons in the d orbital and 1 electron in the s orbital, and for manganese it will be 5. And then what happens to the iron? From iron it starts pairing starts happened. So, since iron is the D6 configuration, what happens here in the iron? So, here we will first fill 1 electron, in one suborbital. So here we have 5 electrons. After that we have 6th electron as a paired electron for iron. So here we have only 4 unpaired electrons. Okay, similarly for cobalt it is D7 configuration. So two suborbitals will get paired. So what happens? It is having only 3 unpaired electron. For nickel it is having only 2 unpaired electron. For copper it is only 1, because of the jumping of electron as usual in the chromium. Okay, and for zinc it is 0 unpaired electrons. It is being completely filled d orbital. Yes. So as the unpaired electron increases, what happens? So if the unpaired electron increases, what happens? Each and every electrons of the d orbital contributes in bonding in addition to the s orbital. Normally for every element the contribution of bonding will be given by the outermost orbital's electron. Here which one is the outermost orbital? The s orbital is the outermost orbital, and the n minus 1 d orbital is the inner orbital, which is called as the penultimate shell. Yes, see here, if this is a nucleus, so this will be like this. For example, if I am going to have an orbitals here, so here this will be your inner d orbital and this will be your outer s orbital. Yes, so here what happens? This d orbital's electrons are also being contributed for the bond formation in addition to the s orbital. So because of this, what happens? Because of this, it forms a strong metallic bonding. It forms a strong interatomic bonding. Okay, and this bonding will constitute the property. Okay, since the bond is being stronger, what happens? The energy required to break the bond is higher, and since the energy required to break the bond is higher, the melting point is higher, obviously. So from scandium to chromium, it is being very obvious that what is the obvious reason? It is having more number of unpaired electron, and therefore the metallic bonding is stronger, and since the bonding is stronger, melting point is high. Okay, so therefore from scandium to chromium, the melting point is high. Okay, and here there is an exception, that the technetium and manganese have a drop in the melting point. This we will talk about this later. Okay, just a little later. When we talk about this iron to nickel, so if from iron to nickel the number of unpaired electron is decreasing, and therefore as a usual trend, since the unpaired electron decreasing, the contribution towards bonding will get decreased. The d electrons contribution towards the bonding is getting decreased, and therefore the melting point is decreased. Okay, and here for copper it is being only 1 electron, and therefore it is obviously the melting point is decreased. When we talk about the zinc, okay, cadmium and mercury, we told that it has a very low melting point. Now you can understand why it has a very low melting point. Why? Because the first reason is not having unpaired electron. Not having unpaired electron. Not having unpaired electron. Okay, and if the second reason is, since it is having a stable electronic configuration. What is a stable electronic configuration here? It is having NS2 and ND10. No group or no elements will go from the stable to the unstable condition. Okay, always all the elements will prefer for the stable configuration, but it is already a stable configuration, and it will not be pleasant for it to give or get electrons to form a bonding. Okay, and therefore it will not give. So it will not the bonding, the electrons will not be available for the bonding. The electrons will not be available for the bonding because of its stable configuration, and because of this what happens, it has a weak bonding and therefore it has a low melting point obviously. Now if we talk about this manganese and the technetium, here the first reason is it is having less number of unpaired electron than chromium. See, it has only 5 unpaired electron because it is having Ns2 n minus 1 d5, so only 5 electrons as a unpaired electron, and here chromium has 6 electrons as a unpaired electron. So this is one of the reason, but this is not the main reason. Here the main reason is it has a perfectly half filled configuration, which is Ns2, okay, Nd5. It is a perfectly half filled configuration. It is the same reason as the zinc, cadmium and mercury. Since it is being a very stable, having a stable configuration, the electrons are not easily available for the bonding, and since the electrons are not easily available for the bonding, what happens, it is having a weak bonding and therefore low melting point. So this is the property of what it is a property of d block elements, which is the melting point. So now I'll give you a good short summary. Okay, so the summary is because of the unpaired electron, okay, because of the unpaired electron, it is having number of unpaired electrons, it is having high melting point. It is having a high melting point, and since if it is the number of unpaired electron is greater, what happens, the bonding will be stronger, okay, and since the bonding is stronger, energy required to break the bond is high, and since the energy required to break the bond is high, the melting point is high. This is the general reason for high melting point. And for chromium, for manganese and technetium, what happens, it is having a stable configuration, and electrons will not be available from the stable configuration to lose its stability and form a bond, okay, and therefore it is having a low melting point than chromium and molybdenum tungsten, okay. And for zinc, what happens, it is also having a stable configuration, but the main reason here, it is not only the stable configuration, here it is not having any unpaired electron, and therefore the bonding will be very weak, and therefore low melting point is possible, okay. Thank you. Thank you guys.